sorry about that. Let's see what the crack is now. This comes on. Turn the camera around, basically. So perfect. Thank you very much for joining me. Yes, this is take three. First one was kind of a bit of a blur because I tried on the proper Twitch kind of beta kind of thing to get a proper viewing of this whole thing. It crashed to say the least a lot, and then I tried another one there now, and then somebody came in the house, so I kind of had to abandon that because I didn't know how to stop it because it was going on the phone. Brilliant. Anyway, if there's anybody watching this, thank you very much for watching. If you want to follow, subscribe, all that kind of jazz. Bit of a following, bit of a subscribing, bit of money. Anyway, if you were probably watching the first one, sorry about that. The second one's probably going to be a bit more. I'm not going to say professional. Is anything professional really? Anyway, so obviously, if you were watching it, the new first game was actually New England against Nashville. New England probably coming into this game are on a better reign of form. They won their last four games, whereas Nashville probably have one, all that kind of jazz. New England being the probably better team. I went for like a 1-0 win to New England just for the fact is New England are probably the better team in the league at this moment. Obviously, as you can see, they're top of the league, but they have a good manager, they have a good system, and they have two very good players in their midfield and attacking basically. And all things are kind of coming up roses for them at the moment. Whereas Nashville haven't really won a game away from home, so I went for like a 1-0 win. The next one is Montreal against Atlanta. Montreal. Where did I see with Montreal? I just was just yeah. They lost their last three games, which was away on the road. Now they're coming up against the Atlanta team, who got haven't won a game in the last six. Even though there was signs against Orlando to win that game, but they kind of got. Now they kind of scored a good header in the final. It was kind of dodgy defending, to be fair to both teams, but that's what you kind of say. So I kind of went like for a 1-1 draw. I think Atlanta have the capability of winning this game, but I think Montreal have the capability of annoying them not to win that game. That makes sense. So I went for like a 1-1 one on that one. Obviously, then into the next one, which is Columbus Crew, who got beaten by New York City FC. And that was, yep, 4-1, which was a pretty impressive result for New York City altogether. Now against DC United. Whereas DC United, they drew against Cincinnati, which was a bit of a strange game. And then they beat New York Red Bulls, so that was a pretty good result. And then drew against Chicago Fire. So they're basically all over the place at the moment. Columbus Crew, who are above them, got a weird cough. So saying that, Columbus Crew probably the better. I would always say they are the better team. They have Nagby, who's a pretty good player, coming up against DC United now, who will probably have a couple of players back from the Gold Cup. Again, probably Columbus Crew will too. But saying that, I think for the fact that this Columbus Crew probably are probably a stronger team. Again, DC United could have players back, but I'll go for like a 2-1 win on this one. I think Columbus Crew have it in them to win this game, where DC United have it in them to probably lose this game. Like DC United have only won the one game, I think, away from home, whereas Columbus Crew are probably in their new stadium, probably look a wee bit better. So I'll go for that one. The next one is Philadelphia against Toronto. Toronto actually starting not to lose. The drew against Nashville, beat Chicago Fire, but then at home they're not seem to be doing too well at home. To be fair, doing better away from home actually at this moment in time. Um, they've won their last two away from home, whereas Philadelphia drew their last home game. This one could be a tricky one. This is probably one where Philadelphia could probably actually slip up. Um, hmm. Anybody in the chat, want to say what their predictions could be and all that kind of stuff? I'm happy enough to give it a shout out. So basically, Philadelphia coming up against the Toronto team, who I would suspect have the capabilities of getting a good result. Michael Bradley, their captain, and all that kind of stuff will be back, whereas Philadelphia should have a few players back just to get everything going again. So I'll go for like a 2-all draw. I think they're just a probably Philadelphia hasn't really basically grabbed the season by the neck, and they just haven't won comfortably in the game. So I'm going to think there could be a 2-all draw just in that one, obviously. The next one is Chicago Fire against New York City FC. Chicago Fire, who drew their last game, kind of upsetting my fucking predictions. Thank you very much, Chicago Fire. They drew with Philadelphia, which I didn't see that coming. I think I should. I had money on Philadelphia to win, and they didn't. Anyway, coming up against a Chicago Fire against a New York England team who beat Columbus Crew, which was a pretty good result. They are where New England, New England, New York. They won their last three, which was all at home. The last two away from home they lost, and one of those was against Columbus Crew. And Montreal. So away from home, they're probably not going to be the greatest. Where Chicago Fire at home haven't really won all that much away at home as well. So could be a tricky one, but I think Chicago Fire may lose this one. I went for like a 2-1 win to New York FC. Trying to get the words out. It's pretty warm in here, by the way, and I don't know why I'm wearing a jumper. But anyway, it's winter. No, summer in Ireland. Anyway, saying that, 2-1 win to New York. The next one is Red Bulls against Cincinnati. You would suspect could be a pretty good easy game for New York Red Bulls. They've lost their last home game, whereas Cincinnati have lost their last two, and they haven't really won in the last six. Whereas Red Bulls have only won the one, and that was against Orlando, which was a pretty good result, all saying, albeit. Ha ha ha. So coming up against the New York Red Bulls team, Cincinnati could probably get a good result out of this one. It's tricky. Tricky. What can I go for? I'll go for. I'll go for a 1-all draw. I'll go for a 1-all draw on that one. I think New York Red Bulls have the capability of getting a goal, whereas Cincinnati do as well. Two teams probably don't have the greatest defenses in the world, but I think this game is probably going to be a bit more Red Bull pressing, whereas Cincinnati won't. You know what I mean. It is a tricky one. I think Red Bulls probably could get a good result in this one, but I'll go for like a 1-all. I think Cincinnati have capabilities of scoring against that team, and then yeah, a 1-all. Orlando against Inter Miami. Inter actually won their first game in a long time. They've only won the three games. Like they beat Montreal, which was a pretty impressive result. They drew against Philadelphia, so they're slowly moving up in the world. But they are coming into a first Florida. I think it's their first Florida game derby thing of the season. I think it may be their second. When I think about it, yep, it is their second. They already got beat by Orlando already this season, which was a 2-1 win to Orlando. Now Orlando's going to be at home. No, wait. Orlando was away from home against Inter, and now this is going to be Orlando at home. So I can't really see Inter getting a good result out of this one. Even though that I did predict Inter to get beat last week, during the week weekend. I'll go for a 2-0 win to Orlando. Just for the fact is, Orlando are a better team. I think Inter probably have hit their heights, and this is probably going to be a bit of a game where it's probably going to be a bit too much for them. And so it could possibly be a tricky one for them. So I went for a 2-0 win to Orlando. And I got the name right. Woohoo. Now it is Austin against Houston, which is another state county derby. There's such things as those, I think. It is Austin. So Austin at home in their new stadium against Houston. Where is Austin? 25th in the league. And have they played Houston Dynamo already? The US thought they would have, but they haven't. Interesting. So it is going to be an interesting game, this one. God knows what way this is going to go. I fancy Austin to probably win this one. I'm going to go for like a 2-1 win. I think Austin may have, with their home fans, which is probably a good thing for them, coming into like their first probably Texas derby thing. It's probably not their first Texas derby. I must actually check that as well. All the stuff I probably should have checked beforehand, but anyway, who cares? Let's see. Nope, this is their first Texan derby kind of game because they're playing Dallas next week, so that'll be even a better game away from home. So saying that, Yeah, I think Austin could possibly get a good result of this one. So I'm looking for like a 2-1 win to Austin. So let's see if that game actually comes out. The next one is Seattle Sounders against FC Dallas. And this is going to be a tricky one. Will Seattle actually have their players back in time? I haven't really heard much on if they are. I know that Rodan's already in Seattle and parading with his medal already through the dressing room, so it could possibly well be that he's could be fit to be returned. So saying that, I'll go for like a two. Hmm, I'll go for another 2-1 win. I'll go for Seattle to win this one. I think FC Dallas are a very good team. They kind of upset my bet last week, beating Sporting Kansas City 2-1, and they beat LA Galaxy before that 4-0. So they have the capabilities of getting a good result out of this one, but it is a queer distance for them to travel, like to Sporting Kansas City, back for a few days training, and then straight over to Seattle for more football, for more games. So I think Seattle probably a bit more. I'm going to say a bit more pressure coming into this one, even though they had their last two games at home, they lost. I know, but anyway, I think they're going to get they're going to get things back on track. Is that what I'm trying to say? So 2-1 win to them. The next one is LA Football Club. They drew their last game against Minnesota, which I think I got correct. I think I predicted 1-all. And then they drew against Vancouver, which I think I predicted to be 1-all. And then they got beaten by Portland away from home. And now they're coming up against a Sporting Kansas City team who lost last week. Again, sorry, on the weekend there against, as I said, Dallas, but they beat Seattle and all that kind of stuff. So they are probably a better team coming into this one. Let's see. Yep, and out of the last four away from home, Sporting Kansas City has won their last three out of won three out of those last four, whereas LAFC have drew their last two. So coming into this one, I can actually predict a 1-all draw. So probably put money on a 2-all draw. But no, I'm going to go for like a 1-all draw on this one. I think LAFC are a very good team. They're at home, and Sporting Kansas City are a very good team and have a very good away record. And you can probably put switches any way that you want. I think Sporting Kansas City have the capability to win this one, as does LAFC. So I'm going to go for like a 1-all draw. Just cut the straight thing down the middle and carry on. The next one is Galaxy against Real Salt Lake. I think Galaxy have a better chance of winning this one than you think. They won their last two games away at home. Sorry, I guess. Whereas Real Salt Lake have only won the one in the last four. And let's see who that was against. Let's see, where's Real Salt Lake? That was against away from home. That was Vancouver. They already played LA Galaxy, and that was a 2-all draw. That was in Real Salt Lake. So it could be an interesting one. Somebody just followed me. Thank you very much. Hey. Um, yeah, I was just saying. I kind of got distracted there. LA Galaxy against Real Salt Lake. Probably a better team, LA Galaxy, coming into this one. I probably would suggest they are a better team to be winning this game. So I'll go for like a 2-0 win to the Galaxy, because Real Salt Lake are started off the season very well, even though they didn't really play that many games. Still have only played 15, whereas the Galaxy have played the 16. Lovely. I haven't got a clue. Anyway, so yeah, I went for like a 2-0 win on that one. So the next one and the last one is Portland Timbers against San Jose Earthquakes. So let's see. Portland Timbers probably a better team coming into this one. It is a tricky one. Let's see. Let's see. Portland Timbers probably coming into this one against the San Jose Earthquakes team. I would suggest Portland Timbers could possibly win this one, even though that they are quite strange. Even though that Eric is now back over there. Congratulations, Eric. You're moved over from New York back home. So at home, Portland Timbers could possibly win this one. I'll go for like a 2-1 win to that one. I think San Jose Earthquakes probably have a capability of getting a goal in this one, but saying that, I'll go for a 2-1 win to Portland. And those are my predictions. Thank you very much. If there's anybody chatting in the chat there wants to have a chin wag, let me know before I head off. Somebody else just written someone shit into the chat, which I haven't got a fucking clue. So fun things. So, yep, those are my predictions. I hope you enjoyed them. I hope to see you on the next one, if you are on the next one. And yep, chat to you then. Bye now.